I want to talk about work efficiency for a second, because we always talk about how we can work longer, how we can get more productive hours in the day and stuff, and that's very prevalent in self-improvement culture today. But I think that there's a much better approach to it, which I want to discuss in this video. If you don't know me, my name is Yash. I'm a student at Oxford, and I'm trying to maximize my grades whilst also maximizing the other areas of my life and actually enjoying it. And I'm basically trying to create the most fulfilling lifestyle that I can. So if you're interested in that, then keep watching. I think that working for long hours is overrated, and I've discussed this in previous videos in the past, but especially among students, there's this culture of let's study for 12 hours a day, and that means you're a good student. Even if you're in a job, people might say, okay, I got in a really good 8-hour shift. Oh, okay, I got in 10 hours, and I got 2 extra hours of paid overtime. And I think that's actually where this whole culture stems from. The culture of time spent doing work equals how good of a work day that was, or equals how good you are at working. That whole equation came out because employers hire you based on a time basis. They pay you based on how much time you put into the work. And so it's natural to feel like time is an expendable resource and it's a currency. But the thing is, I don't think that's true. I don't think we should view time as a currency, because we don't actually know how much of it we have left. Who knows how long I have, whilst making this video, right? Time is something which is so unpredictable that we can't say that, okay, I have 2,000 hours left in my bank account. That's not how it works, right? It's not like we can just open up a screen and say, this is how much time I have left, and so I'm going to use X amount on this and X amount on that. So I don't think time is a currency that is spent. Rather, I've been exploring the perspective that time is merely just to be experienced. Time is our existence. In other words, we are time. We can be time, and time is merely just us living. Time happens to us, in a sense. And so it removes this whole need of trying to fit in things into time. It removes this whole need of trying to, stuff more and more stuff into the jar of time. Of like, if we have a jar of an hour, let's try and get as many things in there as possible. It removes that pressure, and you can just start to actually live life for what it is. And what that does when you remove that pressure is it gives you the ability to take things into perspective, and you can actually experience life in a much more rich way, and you can truly be present. Because if we're always trying to increase how much we can do per unit time, and we're trying to spend our time in more and more efficient ways, there will actually only be more things that come to our mind. Because the paradox is, as we get quote unquote better at spending, again quote unquote, our time, then we start to think that we can fit more into our time. And what does that do? It makes us search for more things to spend our time doing. And basically, this paradox, this infinite loop of productivity, will make you try and find more and more things to be busy with, but it will strangely leave you further and further from being fulfilled, because you'll be able to actually experience life less and less. And I'm not saying that we need to stop being productive, of course not. We do need to do things which are important, but really that is all it is at the end of the day. It's doing things. There shouldn't be an attachment to how much time is being experienced whilst doing that thing. However long it will take is however long it will take. But the point is that you want to do that thing. And so going back to the context of working and studying, we shouldn't work for how long we're doing it. We should work for how good it feels doing the work. How much percentage in flow am I? And that's kind of the thing you should optimize for more, because studies have shown that if there's one specific time in which someone is fulfilled and really happy, it's when they're in flow state. It's when they're doing something which is adequately hard enough for them to require maximum concentration. In other words, when you are completely present in the moment is when you are the happiest. So it goes back to this thing of remove this attachment of time and just focus on doing what matters. And what you realize is that when you actually start to align yourself with doing things which matter to you and doing things in a way that matters to you, for example, I might have things which don't particularly matter to me that much. So my computer science degree inherently doesn't matter to me that much, but if I do it in a certain way, then it matters to me more. So if I do it in the way of trying to increase my discipline, trying to increase my mental fortitude, and trying to see how far I can push myself in being disciplined and working hard for something despite not seeing results, if I frame it that way, then it matters to me a lot more than studying computer science. So if you manage to make the things that you do matter more, and you drop this time attachment, then you will find that steadily over time you get more and more work efficient to a point where you don't need to measure it anymore. You don't need to measure how long it takes you to do things. You just do them and you just experience time. And what this does is it allows you to enjoy life exponentially more, and you start to unlock this perspective, this blissful experience of life which you never thought was possible. And then you start to want to help other people come out of that cave, and that's what I'm doing with this very video. So I hope this video did help you, and yeah, subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you in the next video.